Greetings and blessings. It's August 31st, around 10 a.m., 90%, probably 100% up here, 100% humidity, and it's around 10 a.m., 70 degrees. I know I just said that. But yeah, so basically I'm still working on this back half. This was last week. This is also going to be what's growing in September, because that is essentially tomorrow, and I'm not going to have time later in the week to make this video. So here we are now. A lot's been going on. 17 rains for August, unless it rains again tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to. That ties July for 17 rains, and June still holds the record now for the most rains in a month of 19. This pasture is still growing up for its fourth cut, and I'm really excited about that. This pasture is still being cut on its third cut, but by the time that this is done, this will be ready for its fourth cut. And by the time that this is done, this will have grown back up. I'm going to get to this later in the week, on the weekend when I have some time. And what's growing in September in JsGrassFedGarden? After not only relentless rain, but just insane fluctuations, blocked out sun. Let's get into it. So down this row was soft neck garlic. The soft neck garlic came out, and first it was interplanted with potatoes and soft neck garlic. The soft neck garlic came out, and then there was some spaces, so I threw in tomatoes, and then there was some more spaces, so I threw in Delcata squash. So that's just this whole row, and in the pathway underneath all that, before this got covered, I planted sweet potato slips. So there's actually sweet potato slips in the understory of all this. You can see all of the tomatoes. And these ones right here are still the initial summer tomatoes that I planted in May. And these tomatoes and the tomatoes over right in this row are 60-day fall tomatoes. Now in this middle row here, this was all the early potatoes and garlic that came out. Now it's been planted to Tokyo market turnips, watermelon radish, and the 60-day tomatoes, and I've been harvesting those root crops the past 2 weeks. Gonna get one more full flush of the Tokyo market turnips. I might try and resow it or transplant it to something, or just let it get that nice shade coverage from everything that's going on there, and we'll assess in the fall when everything dies back. We have some beautiful Delcata squash ripening up. So after this bed, it goes to the German butterball potatoes, where there was hard garlic intermixed, and all of these German butterball just grew back from seed potatoes that I didn't harvest thorough enough last season. These were all more early potatoes now, and then those came out, it got planted to broccoli transplants. There's a coriander row in there. That's getting taken over by the Delcata from the east side, and then it was interplanted with Brussels sprouts. All the cilantro fell down, or coriander now, and now the Brussels sprouts come up. This was all previously in the beginning planted to soft neck garlic. that delicata taking over there. There was more potatoes up this row, and now there is some cabbage transplants in there as well. We'll see what happens. Some Swiss chard on this bed right here. This was all hardneck garlic, harvested, transplanted to Swiss chard. This was all cut and come again lettuce that I had gotten 7 to 9 weeks of cuts off of. That all started to go to seed. I mulched it heavy, snipped it off, left the root structure in the ground. In about a week, on the next root day, first week of September, I will sow this to direct sow to winter storage crops, purple top, white globe turnip, daikon radishes, cold hardy root crops. Now, down this row we have peppers. My first beautiful pepper sets in Vermont, and that has been also prepared to be sent into winter tunnel production with some kale transplants. This I was saving radish seed and lettuce seed off of. Now it's been planted to daikons and green wave mustard greens. Those will go into December. I'll put the covers on these right before or after we get our first frost. Right here we have some solstice broccoli, perennial wild arugula in its second year. Elderberry cutting, putting off some nice growth in its first year. And then intermixed back there underneath the broccoli is onions, then some next succession of cut and come again lettuce. We have some astro and uber arugula row, some more peppers on the back of that, and I also planted the peppers in the tunnel rows so I could possibly pull the cover over them to keep the peppers going past our first frost. And this whole side, oh, well, I didn't even do this right here. So right here we have sweet potato slips. This was all potatoes, and you can go back to look at any of the previous videos to re-see what I'm talking about. It was, and then you can see what it is looking like now. So yeah, sweet potato slips. There's sweet potato slips all around in the pathways, like I was saying, and it's underneath that canopy out there. But we have some more Brussels sprouts, cabbage, there's some kohlrabi, looking beautiful. All in the understory of mountain mint. We have some summer squash back there, more sweet potato slips underneath I can see, and it's literally hard to walk down this side anymore. But we have the raspberries taking over, hopefully to get a nice fall October raspberry harvest. These cherry tomatoes just sprawling out, letting them finally do their thing. There's a row of pumpkins all back there, and then under the pumpkins is Brussels sprouts. Elderberry in its first year, just from a cutting stuck in the ground. There's those Brussels sprouts hiding. Cucumbers, all doing well. Those are gonna die off, and then intermixed in here is Swiss chard waiting for a light release, some more Brussels sprouts and cabbage. And then we have eggplants. And these things have taken so long, but man, is it going to be worth it for that beautiful Rosa Bianca fruit. And there is one set on it. So we'll have some eggplant here soon. Oh, I just seen another one. Right down there. Look at that beautiful purple and white. Yes. And then these lemon cucumbers, they really haven't done too well. They put on a lot of growth. They might have been planted not on a fruit day. They're putting on a lot of flowers, but not too much fruit. And then all the way on the back end is more of the first planting of tomatoes. There's sweet potatoes in this bed, but it's all just getting taken over. So here we are at the end of August / beginning of September, and we are completely filled to the brim. I mean, we are literally completely filled to the gills. And I'm really proud of it. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. I realize that my style of planting is not the average. There's a lot of permaculture practices implemented here. Basically taking the way I've learned from another permaculture mentor of how he plants perennial guilds, and I've taken that same concept and applied it to planting guilds with annuals intermixed with perennials. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.